In today's video, me and a friend, David Kowalski, or DK for short, will be checking out one of Michigan's biggest hotspots for shortline railroading in Class 2s, Saginaw, Michigan. The short lines in Class 2s that run around this big city and beyond are Lake State Railway Company and Huron and Eastern. These trains like to run around on the old historic rails that lie along the city and beyond, while also working yards and industries along the way. Normally you will see some short manifests and also maybe some grain trains along this city, and although this may not be me and DK's first time going to Saginaw, this is definitely a documentable day because we caught so many different runs during this day. So, I guess with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this going and catch our first train, shall we? The first train that we captured for the day was Lake State Railway Z491's morning run, which is an as-needed grain train that heavily varies and comes to and from Flint, Wixom, Standish, or beyond, and usually it terminates or picks up loads at around Carrollton. The power for this train was CSX ST70 Mac number 4555 leading solo long hood forward during this part of the run during this part of the day. Me and DK capture him crawling by the old searchlight signal near Weiss Avenue near the Diamond on the Lake State Railway Dean subdivision. They had to stop and back up right here because they were still working around Carrollton. I believe they had to drop off or pick up more loads from Carrollton before heading to Saginaw. But that wasn't a big deal though. We still got some decent shots by the searchlight and eventually we were just ready for our next train.
This thing's blocking 740, which is way down there. Let's go to relocate to get this guy while he backs in. So yeah.
Next train on the list was Huron and Eastern 740, which was just heading south from Bay City after working a handful of industries. And we catch it here at Genesee Yard, ready to pull in and start working, with Huron and Eastern GP38-2 number 3526 on point. He put quite a horn show on for us with that little P3 of his. Okay, but not really, but there was some crossings nearby, and I thought the horn sounded nice. Rolling in on the Saginaw subdivision, like I said, ready to work Genesee. So after the train cleared the crossing circuit, the crossing took a little bit of time to shut off, but that's pretty typical for the crossing near Genesee Yard. So after that, we heard through the grapevine that we had Huron and Eastern 800 coming later, but which was even closer was Huron and Eastern 702, which was a daily manifest that originated in Saginaw, heads south on the Saginaw sub all the way to Durand, Michigan and Durand Yard, works there for a while, and comes back north at Huron and Eastern 701, with HESR SD40-2 number 3414 on point. Now, one thing I definitely wanted to do with this train eventually was shoot it over the bridge over the Saginaw River. Although, unfortunately, this catch costed us a Lake State Railway train, but I thought it was totally worth it in the end anyway, because that P5, that 3414 rocks, is absolute ear candy to me. Go ahead and take a listen.
That's the only unit I know that has a P5 on HESR's roster.
Ready to start?
Yep.
So that was pretty much it from 702. A rather chill crew and multiple good angles secured. But then once that cleared Saginaw, the action dwindled down for a little while. So me and DK decided to go out and get some food and also watch HESR 740 work. Until about an hour or two later, here comes Huron and Eastern 800 with HESR 3509 in the lead and something pretty neat trailing that will thankfully lead back later, which you will see in a moment. .800 right here had to stop because it had to get clearance into Genesee Yard, where they will work for a little bit and also spin the power. And as you guys could see, yup, that was Huron and Eastern 3866, a GP38-2 still in its original Rail America paint, which is also the last Rail America unit that I need to catch leading before I got all three. So once 800 was done working, we decided to relocate near Saginaw Yard and catch it at this pretty cool bridge of it heading out of Genesee Yard with its spun power. So what it's doing here is it's going to be pulling into Lake State Saginaw Yard, work there for a bit, and it's also going to be working Tri-State, which is a little industry just south of the yard on the Lake State line, which is actually a very small connection off of the Lake State Saginaw sub, owned by Huron and Eastern, which is actually a portion of an old main line. But for now, here it is rolling into the yard with 3866's whiny and fouled Leslie RS3K blared for the crossing. So then after he cleared the Washington Avenue crossing, me and DK then follow him into Saginaw Yard to catch him over the old pedestrian bridge that lies over the yard. But then while me and DK were chilling on the bridge waiting for him to go through, we heard on the radio that the crew has made a mistake and they actually had to work Tri-State first before working Lake State. So then me and DK waited for him to come back, and lo and behold, the train actually was reversing towards Tri-State Lumber. So I decided to get a few more video clips in before we watch him work. But in the meantime, I decided to take some clips of some Lake State locomotives that were rolling around the yard at the time, and which I thought was pretty neat, especially the fact that I found out that 4304 had LED ditch lights. But after just a little bit of waiting later, here comes the Vassar-originated local backing into Tri-State after receiving its signal. And from here, the chase began. Now let's go ahead and continue watching him back into Tri-State Lumber and eventually head out facing forward after working a lot on the bad track over near Tri-State. And here it is, pulling in and out of Tri-State Lumber. And it's quite the combination of seeing this old 70s Rail America locomotive on top of these old rails that are probably way older. A part of an old NYC main line that used to extend way further than how it stands now. This line used to extend way out east, way out into the Thumb area, but vast majority of it, up until Denmark Junction, I believe, has been turned into the Harger Line Rail Trail, which I think what was the subdivision was called back then. So basically what it's going to do here is it's going to drop off its loaded center beam and then pick up 2 empty ones and then head back to Saginaw Yard. Yeah, as you can see, the crew had to make some pretty wacky maneuvers to drop off that loaded center beam, but after some finagling, they managed to figure it out.
I forgot where the old main used to go out to.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go and wait for him to depart fully.
So after basically smoking up the entire neighborhood with its throttle maneuvers, the 800 finally comes out of Tri-State back onto the Lake State line, and we catch him again at the Perkins Road Railroad crossing. Now before we capture this train, we hear a rather dreaded message from a certain train on DK's scanner.
Yeah, just letting you know, we're on the ground over here at Zilwaukee first.
Yep, you heard that right. Derailment.
491's on the ground in Zilwaukee.
No. Alright, back to the yard we go.
So there goes 800, heading off into the sunset to start working Lake State Saginaw Yard. Now, obviously, after that little radio message we received, we decided to go over near Zilwaukee and inspect a few things. And well, to me, I was not really surprised to see what I saw. The bad tracks led that lead truck on the leading GEVO of Z491 right onto the ground.
They derailed. Well, the front locomotive did. They're on the ground while trying to grab all those grain cars over there.
I got an hour and a half drive home still, so.
Yeah. So they're gonna go around and try putting these guys back on the rails because it's a mess.
It's gotta be jacked, so. Yeah. Alright guys, crazy thing here in Saginaw.
Now I know it's kind of a sour ending to my little railfanning trip to Saginaw right here, but overall in the end, me and DK had a ton of fun, caught a lot of cool different things, and in the end was definitely crazy to see a derailed GEVO. But overall, I'd say Saginaw really delivered this day, and I will definitely be coming back here soon. Thanks for watching, and if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and comment below if you guys want more of these narrative styled videos. I've been experimenting a little bit with this channel lately, and I've just wanted to try another narrative style video because you guys seem to enjoy the one about me documenting my final Triple Crown road railer train I've ever caught. So I figured to do a similar thing here where I just caught some Huron and Eastern and Lake State Railway Company around Saginaw. Since to me this spot is pretty special, I really like all the short lines and how much actions it gets overall, and I figured this day, Monday, October 14th, was a memorable day of railfanning because, you know, we caught all kinds of Huron and Eastern and also a train derailment. But yeah, and also sorry for the choppy editing. My recording thing on my editor here doesn't really like lengthy recordings, but, you know, womp womp is all I gotta say. So yeah, guys, with all that said, this is G.C.R. Productions, signing over and out. See you guys next time.